my name's Taylor and today is the 1st of July 2021 and I'm officially not pre-T anymore. I applied my first dose of T-gel earlier today. I will be doing a video soon talking about my T-gel, how I apply it, what it looks like, stuff like that, because I thought it'd be interesting and educational, so why not? But for today's video I kind of want to focus on the mental side of stuff. I've had a lot of thoughts and feelings go around my head today regarding my medical transition, and I thought it'd be a good idea to get my camera out and document it. So in the future I can look back on this and my thoughts and feelings now, reflect on it, address whether they were right or wrong, and I just think it'd be pretty neat to be able to, see a slice into the past that I'm living right now. So hello future me. But to do this accurately and for it to be worth something, I have to be completely honest, and that's what I'm going to do. I feel like also there's an element of vulnerability that you have to have, because it's hard to talk about shit sometimes, and that's okay. But I want to do this and I think it's important. So just please be kind, basically. Straight out the gate, I want it to be known that I do struggle with change. It gives me anxiety. Any sort of change, whether it's good or bad, freaks me out a little bit, I'm going to be honest. But I do know there's stuff that happened a few years ago where I felt a bit out of my depth, but now it's just a part of my everyday life. And it was the uncertainty and the fear of change more than the actual change itself, if that makes sense. One example I can think of is moving out of my dad's house for the first time and gaining more independence. Now I love living here, it's great, but at the time I felt so overwhelmed. I was flooded with what ifs and I was scared about not having the security blanket of living with my dad in his house, having to take control and pay the bills and everything like that. It seemed so overwhelming, but now it's just a part of my life and I'm grateful for it and it's great. And another thing that stresses me out and gives me anxiety is control or lack of control, and I feel like that's a big component of starting hormones. Because obviously I know the effects of testosterone, I know what will happen, I am aware of the side effects that can happen. I've had counselling, I've had, appointments at the GIC where we've gone through everything about, what's going to happen. But it's always different when you're living it yourself and going through it. Like, it's one thing hearing about it and knowing and understanding and then living it as well. And you don't know the severity of the changes because most of it relies on, your genetics and stuff like that. And you don't really know when it will happen for you. I mean, there's rough guidelines, obviously, but everyone's different. And I think it's that fear of the uncertainty of it that worries me a bit. This is just me being completely honest. But I know, when I step back and look at the full picture, I know that the changes are what I want and what I need, and I'm ready for that. There's no doubt in my mind that it's what's right for me, but it does scare me a little bit, and that's okay. Just like moving out of my dad's house scared me to begin with, and now it's just my life. So I think that's really important, and to admit that as well. Two other things I'm most excited for are my voice dropping and facial hair. I'm quite lucky in the jeans department when it comes to facial hair. I do know it takes time, especially to fill in properly. Obviously, if I can't grow facial hair, it's not going to be the end of the world. But I am excited to see that change. And my face shape changing as well, that's going to be really cool to see. I am taking a picture every day to do one of those cool, my whole year in 2 minutes or something, or whatever it is, where you see a picture every day. Because I think it'd be cool to see how my face changes. because I feel like it's lots of small changes at first, but obviously they all add up, and when you see it in a timeline, it's just really cool. And about my voice, I have quite a lot of voice dysphoria, and I make the choice not to, purposefully speak in a lower register, because, I don't really want to. I mean, each to their own. If you like to do that, then that's fine. And I totally get why you would. But I just feel, it makes me feel, awkward and tense when I have to basically put on a voice. Because this is me, this is who I am, and this is what I sound like. And one of the great things about taking tea is that my voice will drop. Don't know how much of a severe drop it's going to be, but I definitely make a conscious effort to talk in my normal speaking voice, because I've done all the shit of trying to pretend to be someone I'm not, and I'm just not into it. If you don't like it, then and I think it'd be easier for the comparisons and stuff, just hearing me talk normally without trying to purposefully deepen my voice. I am very excited for the dysphoria around my voice to lessen, obviously, as it gets deeper. I'm excited to be able to speak without worrying about my voice and how it will be perceived. I do suffer a lot with voice dysphoria. Sometimes making these videos are really hard because I have to edit them and watch it back, and hearing myself talk, it just makes me cringe, like I don't like it. But it's who I am, and I think that's a part of my self-love journey, is accepting that. And obviously, as I said, being on tea makes my voice lower, so I'm excited to see that change and to live with that change, basically. There is the other side of that though. I love to play music, I love playing my guitar, I love singing, and I think it's the same for every trans person that sings, especially trans mass people that take testosterone. They worry that their singing voice, won't be as good after testosterone, but there are plenty of examples of trans men or trans masculine people that have been on testosterone that sing great after testosterone. But I won't know for myself until my voice has dropped and I'm at that point. I definitely feel like your voice, your vocal cords, it's its own instrument, and I feel like you have to relearn how to use it properly. That's what people that are musicians that take testosterone, they have to do, and I'm more than willing to do that and work at it. Some of the things I'm most worried about are my mood stability is definitely one, because when you take hormones, testosterone in my case, you effectively go through puberty and menopause at the same time. So it's a lot physically and it's a lot emotionally, but I'm ready for that. I've prepared as much as I can. I have a great support network around me, which will definitely help my mental health. I've also learned various coping mechanisms, healthy ones, techniques that I can use when I'm, when my emotions are a bit all over the place. That's something over, the last chunk of my teenage years and going into my early 20s is something that I've worked on a lot, because I do have mental health problems and I know that taking testosterone won't make them all go away, but I do feel like that it will make it a lot easier to deal with, especially because by taking T and having the gender affirming surgeries, my sense of self will be right. Like, people will see me how I feel like I should have always been seen, and that's a big deal. And being misgendered, having dysphoria and all that shit, it's horrible and it does impact your daily life. It makes it incredibly hard to do a lot of things, especially in social situations and stuff like that. So I'm aware that taking testosterone won't fix me completely, but I think it's a damn good place to start. Another thing, and I think this will be the last thing, that's been playing on my mind a bit is that I'm incredibly lucky. My family were great. At the beginning there was a few slip-ups of pronouns and my name and stuff, and that's fine, that's to be expected. These are people that have known you your whole life and referred to you as one specific thing, as one name and one specific pronoun. So relearning that is difficult, and I understand that, and it takes time, and you definitely need a lot of patience on both sides. But my family have been incredibly supportive of me, and I'm so grateful for that. I know a lot of trans people don't have that luxury. But one of the things that is playing on my mind a lot is socially, I know that the family dynamic will change a little bit. Because I mean, I've been socially transitioning since 2015, which is about 6 years ago, since I was about 16. But I only came out to my family properly and said, you know, I'm trans, I'm gonna take testosterone, you need to call me Taylor and he. I only did that about 3.5 years ago, and as I mentioned, my family have been great about it, but I do worry about the family dynamic, the shift, because I'm the youngest of 4, and I'm not very close to 2 of my siblings, and I'm quite close to 1, so it's going to be interesting where I don't see the other 2 very often, how they interact with me. And obviously by taking testosterone I will look like and sound like a boy, do you know what I mean? Stereotypically, which is how they'll probably see it. I'm interested to see how that impacts our relationship, and obviously with my sense of self feeling better, how, like, if it will be easier to communicate with them as well, which is, I feel like it's going to be a big part of it. I'm intrigued by how, if at all, the family dynamic changes with me being on hormones and being masculine, presenting all the time with a deep voice and stuff like that. So that'd be cool to know, basically. I'm sure future me will let you know how that's gone. I think that's going to be it for now. I really appreciate you listening to me. If you've made it this far in the video, then thank you. Leave in the comments below any worries or insecurities you have about starting T, if you feel safe to share that, obviously. Well, it doesn't have to be testosterone, it's starting hormone replacement therapy. And if that's something that you've already done, how you overcame it. My channel is a safe space. I will be attentive to the comments. So if you do want to share stuff, go ahead, you know. I'll be there to listen. I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.